I spent Mother's Day alone this year, eating cold lemon cake and watching the neighbors through my kitchen window. The delivery driver who knocked on my door at 4 o'clock had no idea he was about to hand me proof of my son's betrayal. But I'm getting ahead of myself. If you're listening to this story right now, I want you to know I see you. I know you're out there, maybe folding laundry or driving home from work, and you took the time to hear an old woman's truth. Tell me in the comments where you're listening from. What time is it where you are? These little connections matter more than you know. Mother's Day used to mean something in my house. When Douglas was 8, he'd wake me up with burnt toast and orange juice in my good crystal glasses, construction paper hearts taped all over the tray. When Ava was small, she'd pick dandelions from the backyard and bring them to me in her tiny fists, yellow pollen staining her Sunday dress. Those were the days when love lived in this house, when being a mother meant being seen. This morning I woke to silence so thick I could taste it. I got up anyway, made the bed with hospital corners like my mother taught me, and put on my good blouse. The one with the pearl buttons. Just in case they came. I set out the china with the blue roses, the ones that only come out for Christmas and Easter. I'd baked a lemon pound cake the night before, let it cool under the mesh dome overnight. Cut 3 perfect slices and arranged them on the serving tray. One for me, one for Douglas, one for Ava. I didn't bother cutting a piece for Rachel. My daughter-in-law made it clear years ago that my cooking wasn't up to her standards. By 11, I had fresh tea steeping. Earl Grey, Douglas's favorite from when he was young and sick with the flu. I used to sit by his bed for hours, spooning it into his mouth between fever dreams. Now I couldn't even get him to answer his phone. It rang 5 times before voicemail picked up. I didn't leave a message. A mother shouldn't have to beg her son to remember the day she gave him life. 2 o'clock came and went. I moved from the dining room to my chair by the front window. Mrs. Jenkins across the street had a parade of visitors. Her daughter pulled up in a car so clean it sparkled, wearing heels and a dress that said, "I respect my mama." She carried a bouquet bigger than her torso and a smile that reached her eyes. I ate my cake slowly, letting each bite dissolve on my tongue. The house creaked around me, 46 years of memories pressed into these walls. I refused to cry. I am 73 years old. I've buried a husband, survived cancer, and raised 2 children with these hands. I would not waste tears on being forgotten. If you're still listening, hit that subscribe button. Stories like mine need to be told, and I promise you, this one's just beginning. 4 o'clock. The knock surprised me. My heart did a little skip, the foolish thing. Maybe they'd come after all. Maybe there was traffic. Maybe Ava had convinced her father to stop by. I smoothed my blouse, brushed the crumbs from my lap, and walked to the door with measured steps. The young man in the brown delivery uniform looked tired. He held a large catering bag in one hand, an envelope in the other. "Delivery for Carter?" "That's me." "Sorry I'm running late. Here's your food, and this came with it." He handed me both items, already turning back to his truck before I could ask questions. The bag was warm, heavy. Inside, I found containers of stuffed chicken breast, garlic mashed potatoes, roasted asparagus. Enough for 3 people. My throat tightened. Maybe Douglas had ordered dinner as a surprise. He'd done that once before when Ava had strep throat and couldn't visit for Easter. Then I opened the envelope. The letterhead stopped me cold. Morning Grove Retirement Living. Not a brochure. Not an advertisement. A welcome packet with my name printed in neat black letters. Mildred and Carter. Below that, Douglas's email address. My legs went weak. I gripped the counter as I read further. Confirmed move-in date. Private suite reservation. Medical information I'd shared with Douglas after my hip surgery. Allergies listed. Current medications detailed. And at the bottom, payment method linked to my checking account. The account I'd given him access to for emergencies. This wasn't a suggestion. This was confirmation of a plan already in motion. I stood there frozen, rereading every word. They weren't just forgetting me. They were removing me. Quietly. Efficiently. While I sat alone on Mother's Day, they were finalizing my disappearance. The catering receipt was taped to the bag. 3 dinners. One for Douglas, one for Rachel, one for her mother. Not me. I wasn't even an afterthought. I was already gone in their minds. A yellow sticky note caught my eye, stuck to the top of the retirement packet. Rachel's handwriting, sharp and impatient. "Here's the packet for Doug to sign. Once it's official, she'll be out before summer." Thank God. Out before summer. Like I was a stain on their perfect life. The delivery driver had made a mistake. One small error that revealed everything. Or maybe it wasn't a mistake at all. Maybe the universe decided I deserved to know the truth. If this story is making you angry, write "mother" in the comments. If you think they had the right to do this to me, write 1. But be honest with yourself about what you'd want for your own mother. I sank into my kitchen chair, the one where I used to feed Douglas mashed bananas and sing him to sleep. The house hummed around me. Refrigerator, clock, the settling of old bones in old wood. For so long I'd ignored the signs. The way Rachel talked over me at dinner. The way Douglas only called when he needed something. The way they discouraged Ava from spending weekends here. Grandma needs her rest, they'd say. What I needed was my family. Last fall, Douglas asked about my will. Said we should streamline my finances. I thought he was being responsible, looking out for me. I even thanked him. Fool that I was. And Rachel always commenting on this house. Too old, too much maintenance, not good resale value. When she offered to help me declutter last Christmas, I thought she was trying to bond. She was sizing up her future profit. I pulled out my fireproof box from the hall closet. Inside, bank statements, property deed, insurance policies. There it was, the checking account number from the retirement home paperwork. The account I'd trustingly given Douglas access to 5 years ago. Just in case, I'd said. Just in case I couldn't manage. He'd been planning to manage me right out of existence. The kettle whistled. I hadn't even realized I turned it on. Muscle memory, maybe? Make tea when the world falls apart. Very British of me. Very proper. Very much what they expected from a woman who wouldn't make waves. I poured the water, watched the steam rise. Then I picked up the phone. Douglas answered on the 4th ring. Hey, Ma. Sorry I didn't call earlier. Crazy day? Crazy day? Mother's Day, and he had a crazy day. I'm fine, I said, my voice steadier than I felt. Just got some unexpected mail. A pause. Then carefully, oh? What kind of mail? A welcome packet. From Morning Grove Retirement Living. Silence stretched between us. I could hear him breathing, could picture him in his kitchen, maybe looking at Rachel, maybe mouthing words to her. I believe it was meant for you, I continued. The delivery driver made an error. More silence. Then a muffled sound, his hand over the phone. I heard him say she knows. When he came back, his voice was different. Smaller. Look, Ma, we were going to talk to you about it. No, Douglas. You weren't. We were trying to figure out the best way to help you. Rachel thought. Rachel doesn't know me. And apparently neither do you. It's not like that. You're being dramatic. Dramatic. The woman who raised him, who sat through 48 hours of labor to bring him into this world, who worked 2 jobs to pay for his college, was being dramatic for objecting to being secretly shipped off to a home. You sent me a catered meal like I was a shut-in. You skipped Mother's Day. You took access to my money and made plans to remove me from the home your father built with his own hands. The home where I raised you. He sighed like I was a petulant child. Ma, please. Don't come here again. I'll make my own arrangements. I hung up. My hands were perfectly steady. Share this story with someone who needs to remember that silence isn't weakness. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is speak your truth and close the door. The phone didn't ring again that night. No apologies. No explanations. I sat in my living room watching the light fade, thinking about all the times I'd made excuses for him. He's busy. He's stressed. He has his own family now. But having your own family doesn't mean you erase the one that made you. The next morning, I called Michelle Dillard. We'd gone to high school together before she went off to become a lawyer and I went off to become a wife. She answered on the 2nd ring. Millie? Is that you? Lord, how long has it been? Too long. Michelle, I need to change my will. Today. She didn't ask why. Good lawyers know when to listen. I'll be there this afternoon. By noon, she sat in my living room with her briefcase and fresh documents. I told her everything. The packet, the bank account, the planned removal. Her face hardened with each detail. That's elder fraud, Millie. We can file charges. No. I just want to make sure they never touch another penny. And I want this house protected. We spent 2 hours going through everything. I revoked Douglas's power of attorney. Changed every account. Created a living trust with Michelle as co-executor. Transferred the house deed into the trust. When we finished, it felt like building a fortress around my life. One they couldn't breach with their sneaky signatures and secret plans. Do you want him to know? Michelle asked. Not yet. I want to see what else they reveal when they think I'm still the helpless old woman they can push around. 2 days later, Ava called. My granddaughter, 17, quiet like her grandfather was. Grandma? Are you okay? Why do you ask, baby? Mom and Dad were fighting. I heard your name. Something about a delivery. I waited, letting her fill the silence. I think I already knew, she whispered. What they were planning. I should have said something. Come see me, I said. Just you. She showed up that afternoon, taller than I remembered, looking like a woman and a child all at once. I handed her the retirement home packet. Watched her read it, watched her face crumble. They lied to me, she said. They said you wanted to go. I know, baby. What are you going to do? Already done. They can't touch the house or the money. Can't make any decisions for me. I took it all back. She looked relieved, then ashamed. I'm sorry I didn't warn you. You're here now. That's what matters. We drank tea together, Earl Grey like I used to make for her father. She told me about school, about her friends, about feeling like she didn't fit in her own home. I told her about her grandfather, how he planted tomatoes and talked to them like children. How we danced in this kitchen when we were young and broke and foolishly in love. If you're listening to this and you've ever felt invisible in your own family, leave a comment. Tell me your story. We're not alone, even when they try to make us disappear. The next day, Rachel's SUV pulled up to my curb. She stepped out in her cream blouse and designer heels, carrying a folder like a weapon. I met her on the porch. Didn't invite her in. Mildred, we need to talk about this misunderstanding. You mean the fraud? The elder abuse? That misunderstanding. Her neck flushed red. We were trying to help. The facility is beautiful. Private suite, gardens, activities. Prison cells can have nice curtains too, Rachel. Still a prison. Douglas is upset. You've locked him out of the accounts. My accounts. My money. My choice. She stepped back like I'd slapped her. You're going to regret this. No. But you might. She drove away faster than was legal. Good. Let her stew. That afternoon, I had Michelle draft a letter to Morning Grove, formally rejecting any arrangements made in my name. Sent copies to my doctor, the state board, anyone who might need to know that Mildred Carter was not going quietly into anyone's good night. Ava came back that Sunday with daffodils and a tote bag. Can we cook together? We made chicken and dumplings from scratch. She peeled carrots too thick and dropped flour everywhere, but she laughed at herself and kept trying. The sun slanted through my kitchen window, and for a moment, I forgot about betrayal and papers and secret plans. I just watched my granddaughter learn to cook in the kitchen where I'd learned from my own mother. Are you never going to forgive Dad? She asked while we washed dishes. Forgiveness takes more than apology. It takes change. And your father has to want to change. I love him, she said quietly. I know. And that's okay. But love doesn't mean accepting hurt. Love doesn't mean pretending betrayal didn't happen. That night, I showed her the garden. The azaleas were blooming, pink and defiant. We sat on the porch swing and I told her more stories. How her grandfather fell off the roof into the rose bushes. How I once burned a whole turkey and we ate Chinese takeout for Thanksgiving. She laughed until she cried, and it was the most beautiful sound I'd heard in years. After she left, I wrote myself another letter. Dear Mildred, you are not old and in the way. You are not confused. You are not a burden. You are the root that holds the tree. You are the keeper of stories. You are the woman who remembered her worth just in time. Don't forget again. The next week, Douglas came by. No Rachel, no warning. He looked smaller somehow, standing at the bottom of my porch steps. Ma, can we talk? You've been talking for months, Douglas. Just not to me. I was scared, he admitted. The bills, the house, the kids. Rachel said, don't blame your wife for papers you signed. You're a grown man. Act like one. He pulled out an envelope. Ava wrote this. Asked me to give it to you. I read it right there. My granddaughter's words, telling me I was the only adult in her life who told the truth. That she was proud of me. That she wanted to spend real time with me, not just holidays. She's a better person than both of you, I told Douglas. I know, he whispered. Then he left. That night, Michelle called. The house is fully protected. Ava inherits everything when the time comes. You want to tell them? Not yet. Let them wonder. Let them worry. Like this video if you believe every parent deserves dignity. Subscribe if you want to hear more stories from women who refuse to be erased. Comment mother if you stand with me or one if you think I should have gone quietly. Your choice tells me who you are. I signed up for storytelling at the library. Seniors welcome, the flyer said. Time to use this voice for more than just fighting battles in my own home. Time to tell stories that matter, that remind people we're still here, still vital, still refusing to be packed away. Rachel drives past sometimes. Never stops. Good. Let her see me watering my flowers, walking to my mailbox, living my life in the house she thought she'd sell. Last week, I made lemon pound cake again. Cut 3 slices. One for me, one for Ava, one for Michelle, who's become a friend again after all these years. We ate in my dining room, sunlight streaming through clean windows, and talked about everything except disappearing. Because I'm not going anywhere. This is my house. My life. My story. And I'll keep telling it until my last breath, which will happen right here in my own bed, in my own time, on my own terms. The delivery driver who knocked on my door that Mother's Day had no idea he was saving my life. One small mistake, one envelope in the wrong hands, and everything hidden came to light. Maybe it wasn't a mistake at all. Maybe the universe decided an old woman eating alone deserved to know the truth about her own fate. If you've made it this far, you're family now. The kind that listens. The kind that stays. Tell me in the comments where you're from. Tell me your own story of standing up when they expected you to lie down. Share this with someone who needs to remember their own strength. And remember, when they try to make you disappear, when they whisper about what's best for you without asking what you want, when they plan your removal like you're already gone, that's when you plant your feet. That's when you change the locks. That's when you remind them that you're not just their mother or grandmother or burden. You're Mildred and Carter, or whoever you are, and you are not going gently into anyone's good night. Not today. Not tomorrow. Not ever. Subscribe for more stories. Like if you felt this in your bones. Comment, Mother, if you understand. And remember, we're still here. Still fighting. Still worth every single moment they'd rather forget.